Hey guys, this is Mr. Pill here. Today is April 22nd, 2020. I'm making this video right now because I've gotten a request from a couple people not knowing what to do for this water footprint worksheet and also getting confused on certain parts. So I figured I'd go ahead and make this video. Hopefully it'll explain what it is that you're supposed to do. And if by the end of this you still have any questions, you can easily contact me and I'll help you out. Alright? So let's get started. First thing I'm going to do, write my name. Please write your name so I know whose paper I'm looking at. Alright, so let's read the directions real quick. It says use the link provided, to take a survey to calculate your water use. Once you have finished the entire survey, record your personal gallons per day water use. Next, scroll down to see your water use data. Use this data to complete the 3 tables below. Alright, so let's just take a quick look at what we're dealing with here. Alright, we have our personal gallons per day that go right here. We have our indoor use of water table right here. On the next page, we have our outdoor water use table. And then we have our virtual water use table, which is probably the one that you guys don't necessarily think about when you think about using water. Okay. So we have 3 different tables that we need to fill in, okay? So again, the first thing we have to do is we have to use this link to take a survey to calculate our water use. So let's do that. Alright, and when you go to the website, it's going to look very similar to this. Now, I actually went ahead and completed this survey already, so it's not going to look exactly like this, but this is essentially what the website should look like, okay? So what you're going to do is on this website, it's going to ask you a number of questions and just answer the questions best of your ability. If you don't know the answer, just, again, best you can, just come up with some sort of answer that you think is right, okay? These questions, or these answers, I should say, do not have to be 100% accurate. It's all about what you think is the right answer, okay? And eventually, once you get through all of the questions, you wind up on this screen here. On this screen is where you'll be able to see all of your data pertaining to your water use. And the first thing that should pop out is your personal water use, okay? For me, my personal water use was 1,380 gallons per day. What that means is about, on estimate, I use about 1,380 gallons of water per day. Whatever number you guys came up with should be shown here. It's all based on how you answered those questions, okay? What you're going to do with that number is you're going to put it in the worksheet. And again, your personal water use goes right here. Please make sure that you record what your gallons per day water use is, because you're going to need this number going forward, okay? Okay, now back on the website. According to the directions, it says once you reach this screen here, you should be able to scroll down to be able to see your water use data. So let's do that. Let's scroll down a little bit. One of the first things you're going to notice is a set of bar graphs. These bar graphs represent your answers to your questions and how much water gets used in, for those prompts, all right? You can use the results that are found here if you hover over each bar. What's a lot easier, though, is if you scroll just a little bit more, you'll see this. It's essentially a large data table containing all of the information that you put into the survey, so all of the answers that you gave, and it gives you how much water comes from each of those prompts. All right, so let's take a look. We have 3 sections. We have indoor water use, outdoor water use, and virtual water use. Okay. For each section, they have different prompts where you had given responses, okay? For example, it asked you how long do you take showers for, okay? It asked you about bathing. It asked you about using the bathroom sink. It asked you about the toilet, all these different kinds of questions. whatever answers you put for those questions are going to wind up in this column here. So for example, when I took the survey and I answered the question about how long are my showers and if I have low flow shower heads, my answer is right here. All right. On average, my household takes about 5 to 10 minute showers with low flow shower heads. My answer for the bathtub question was 0 per day because we take showers. Bathroom sink, under 5 minutes with low flow faucets. Toilet, don't let it mellow with low flow toilets. So here's all of my answers. All of your answers are going to be in this column here. As you move over, this column here represents how many gallons per day you use doing those activities or, doing these prompts. So for example, this 20 here represents the fact that on average, I use about 20 gallons per day in the shower based off of my answers. Based off of my answers, I use about 6 gallons per day of water in the bathroom sink. I use about 8 gallons of water per day with the toilet. I use about 20 gallons per day of water with the kitchen sink, and so on and so forth. So this first column of numbers represents your daily water use, okay? And these numbers are important because these are the numbers that are going to go in your data chart. This column over here is the U.S. average. You don't even have to bother to look at it. It just tells you on average what's the average American do, okay? There's no reason to look at it unless you want to compare your answers to that average. But you don't even have to do that, right? So let's go ahead and start to put this information into the tables on our worksheet. All right, so let's start to fill out the rest of this worksheet. So I'm going to go down to my indoor water use, okay? We have the same prompts that were found on the website, right? It asked about your shower, your bathtub, so on and so forth. So all you're going to do is, for each question, you're going to put here what your response was, okay? What your answer was. So for shower, I had 5 to 10 minutes with low flow shower heads. Oh, wow. And you're probably going to have to, I didn't even think about this, probably going to have to adjust the font size to make it all fit. All right. So 5 to 10 minutes with low flow shower head. My gallons per day that it came up with was 20 gallons. Okay. Now, here's where you're going to have to do a little bit of math. So it says, for this column here, your gallons to total gallons ratio. All right. So your gallons for showers, okay, for me, my example, I use about 20 gallons per day in the shower. So I will write 20. Then you're going to write a fraction symbol, okay, because you're essentially making a ratio of how much water does the shower use compared to your total amount of water that you use, okay? So my gallons per day for the shower was 20, and my personal total gallons, remember, was 1,380. All right? With that information, okay, so that's my ratio. With that information, what I'm going to do is I'm going to calculate a percentage of use, meaning what percentage of my water use comes from me taking a shower, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take this number here, divide it by this number, and multiply it by 100. So when you do 20 divided by 1,380 times 100, you get 1.45%. So what that means is 1.45% of my water use comes from my showers, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to fill out all of your answers here, that same way, okay? I'm just going to skip ahead so that way this entire thing can be filled out so that way I can show you what to do with the totals down here. Alright, and like I said, I just skipped ahead, so I had this entire table filled out. Okay. The only thing that I did not do was this total section down here. So let me show you how to do that real quick. For this total, you're going to do your gallons to total gallons ratio, okay? And what this is ultimately going to represent here is your total indoor use compared to your total gallons, okay? So in order to do that, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add up all of these numbers on the left-hand side of our ratio, okay? So let's do that real quick. Again, your numbers are probably going to be different. Let's add up my numbers. I got 20 plus 0 is 20, plus 6 is 26, plus 8 is 34, plus 20 is 54, plus 2 is 56, plus 6 is 62, plus 0 is 62. So we get 62 gallons. What this 62 represents is my total indoor water use per day. Okay? We're going to make that a ratio compared to my total use of all water, right? That 1,380 number. You're not adding up these numbers on the right-hand side. You're leaving that as is, your total water use, okay? So this ratio represents your total indoor water use to your total water use, okay? For the percentage of use, okay, you're going to calculate what this ratio percentage is. So let's do that real quick. All right, let's do 62 divided by 1,380 times 100, and I came up with 4.49%. Okay. The other thing I could have done was add up these numbers here, and you might not get exactly the same number because of the way you might have rounded these numbers up here, these percentages, but you should at least get something close, okay? All right, so that's how you complete this worksheet. You're literally going to do the exact same thing for the other two columns, okay? Or the other two tables, I should say. And in the end, your percentages that you get here in your total percentage of use, all of those percentages should add up pretty close to 100% because we're talking about your percentage of water use. So if you're calculating the percentage of each type of water use and they should all add up to your total water use, then you should add up to 100%. Okay. All right. Hopefully that cleared up a lot of things. If you're still confused, just message me, email me, do whatever you got to do to get in contact with me. I'll help you out. But please make sure that you do contact me if you are confused. All right, guys? All right, so I will talk to you another time. See you later.